I did, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Hi, Kane.
Hi.
Okay, we are live.
All right. Okay. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Hello.
Got the notification that we are live.
Well,
Awesome. I've already taken the attendance. We have Mr. Major being absent and Mr. Siebert. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started. He said he'll be joining a little late, just so everyone will know. On the agenda tonight, I attached the minutes from the previous meeting, which were the initiatives that we sent over to the HRC Commission. Has everyone had an opportunity to read over those minutes?
Yes.
Are there any questions, concerns, comments?
the only thing, Miss Phillips did say that she wanted to do JVS and layman.
No.
That's the only,
No.
Are you fine with that, the way it is?
Yeah, I
Okay.
I didn't want to do them.
Oh,
I said-
okay, that's fine then.
I would do St. Pat's because they had you down, I think, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
JVS
yeah, no,
Monday.
okay, I just wanted to make sure. Then no, they're fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
because I
good.
already saw St. Pat's, so.
Awesome.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I try to make pretty good notes or whatever,
No.
as much as possible. All right, so, okay, then that's good. I know that we're gonna talk about the actual annual report tomorrow at the actual commission. So my question now for this committee is, what are our next steps, being that we have submitted our report / initiatives on to the HRC? So do we want to go back and revisit, like, what is outstanding on those initiatives that we can continue working towards for this year? I did get a follow-up email from Tripoded. I know the last conversation we had, some of us talked about potentially having them present to the commission or to our committee. That is an option. So my question is to you guys is, do you want that presentation, whether it's, a saved presentation, or do you want them to actually join us at a meeting?
I thought we kind of decided that we would have them to come and speak to us so we could ask them questions, maybe.
So because they are out of state, I would have them to join us like via Zoom or something.
Oh, okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
So we could ask some questions. You know what we said last time? Yeah.
Is everyone in agreement with that? It's regarding the survey,
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
or were we gonna wait until after?
I
Later?
think we were discussing the price, what it was gonna cost, and to see how much money we would be allocated to use.
So the price is the price. I think what they would be presenting to us would be like their process, how they, go about it or anything like that. Because they've already provided us the quote or the contract, if you will.
I agree with Miss Phillips. I remember the conversation being that we would at least kind of familiarize ourselves with the process so we could advocate in our next steps. And I
Okay.
thought we agreed to have that within, I'll be honest, I can't remember if we said this meeting or the bigger HRC meeting. I can't remember that part.
This one, because it was education, mostly geared to that. Okay.
Okay, so with that said, do we want them, we could present it to the HRC tomorrow to ask if they can, if we can hear it as a whole? And then I can schedule a time for that.
I like that idea
I do too.
myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so quiet tonight.
David, did you, or Kane, I know you guys are quiet, so I don't want us to be.
No,
speaking
that's
for you.
that's fine. That's fine with me.
He's
Okay.
nodding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see you, Kane.
I'm nodding.
Okay, very good. So I'll get that, I'll talk with them and then I'll work with Salome as far as the scheduling, because that is one of the topics of discussion for tomorrow is the scheduling of presentations for
Yes.
our upcoming schedule. So I'll work with Salome in that regards.
Thank you.
I think I should bring up at this point in time, before we go too far down this road, that I did talk to the superintendent, and he said they have a board policy regarding outside surveys, and they, in general, they don't accept surveys for their students and staff from third parties. And they already have a survey that they've lined up, and they, at this point, would prefer to stick with that survey. So, like I said, before we go down too far down this road, obviously, Troy City Schools would be the biggest, largest number of students, but that was what I was told.
That's actually good information to know now. So
Yeah, like I said, before we go any further, and so maybe, you know, I don't know if he said he'd be happy to talk about it on, I think, February 11th?
Correct. Yes.
So
Yeah.
perhaps we should, you know, before we, like I said, before we have this other presentation, and again, I don't know if we would still be interested in doing it if Troy City Schools end up not choosing to be involved.
So does Troy City School, you said Troy City School has a survey that they're actually.
Yes, it's actually already done, or finished
Uh-huh.
rather. I haven't seen it myself, and I believe that's one of the topics that Megan Campbell is going to speak about in February, the results of that survey.
David, is there any possibility that they would share results with the HRC
No.
I can
of
find that
their
out.
survey? I think that's a,
Yeah, I will find that out.
Okay.
thank you.
And where did the survey come from? Was it set up by the Board of Education and people that they've selected, or how was that set up?
Yeah, I believe that was set up through the Board of Education and through the board office. Superintendent, Megan, all the rest, assistant superintendent, that's my understanding.
Okay.
Okay, did they get any input from teachers, people in the community, or is it just there, you know, between that group that did it, you know?
I honestly couldn't say with any degree of accuracy. That's probably be a better question for.
Yeah.
Yes,
our
on
next meeting.
February 11th.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So with that said, then maybe we should hold off on, we'll put Tripoded as a potential presenter at the HRC after we hear what Troy City School has to say in regards to their survey. We do need more information from them. So I'd be interested to hear, there's a lot of things that go into actually doing a survey. I'd like to know, like,
I know that it's not as, I mean, I know that we didn't administer it ourselves. It's not like, you know, our Board of Education members were going around handing out questionnaires or anything like that. I know it was through, I don't know, a company or organization or something that they're working with to do this. And I know that the survey has already been distributed to students. The results, I believe, I can't say 100%, but I believe are all back. I have not seen any of those results.
I'm excited to hear what they have to say and the results of it. And
What the survey had on it.
And as I remember, Miss Johnson mentioned that survey way back in summer when schools were starting to work on that. I think that's the same survey she was.
Yes.
It's the same survey, yes. Yeah,
It's the same
well, that's
survey.
actually, sorry, go ahead, David.
No, it's the same survey that they had planned and in the works And it was it was distributed. I want to say in the fall, but again, I couldn't say that for certain. I mean, obviously the kids were back in school and they've been back for 2 quarters. So at some point in the fall, sometime prior to Christmas break, that survey was distributed to all of our students.
And also, I just want to remind you about the Troy Foundation's survey, which was also done, and
Right.
Ms. Klebs is happy to come also and talk about it and
Okay.
give you the kind of the feedback. What I know that Ms. Phillips participated in it, so
Yeah, and so did Sonia.
okay.
All right, so there's 2 surveys that we would love to see the results of. One is the Troy City Schools results of their survey, and then also the Troy Foundation. I'd be interested to see one, because the Troy Foundation kind of reaches out to the community. However, because we are thinking in education here at this point, I'm interested as well as in school to see, what were the parameters that were set for the survey, kind of like the behind the scenes, what was the audience?
And those are questions that both Mr. Piper and Mrs. Campbell would better be able to answer than I could.
Okay. All right. So Troy Schools survey results and Foundation survey results. I got a lot going on over here. I apologize. Let's see. The next one on the initiative list, and I don't believe that we're going to address today, is the education, the stadium program. I know that is one of the topics of discussion that we've asked Melissa, is her name Melissa, right?
Megan.
Megan, I apologize.
Nope.
Megan Campbell.
Correct.
To when she comes in February to speak to us regarding the that program.
And I think Mr. Dilbone, who's the high school principal and ultimately oversees, obviously, things that go on high school students, he would like to speak to that as well.
Okay. What's his name you said?
I'm sorry, I muted
His
myself.
name is on the agenda on
Dilbone.
tomorrow's agenda.
Okay. Okay. All right. I thought this was going to be a quick and easy meeting because we really don't have much. All right, the training program. If you noticed on the minutes, I actually updated it to show that Partners in Hope are actually in the process, or they are actually doing the bridges out of poverty and the tactical communication training. I didn't want to make it appear as though they are not doing, they are not actually in that process of the training. One of the initiatives that we as an HRC is to recommend that we continue to support that training. So if anyone wanted to add anything in regards to training, is there any additional training that we want to talk about here?
I think we're still in need of diversity training. I mean, this is some diversity training, but still diversity training in regards to cultural diversity. Make no mistake, we're going to do our due diligence in regards to economic class, social injustice pieces while we're training the police and whatnot, but we're still not hitting the direct racial issue divide diversity.
That is a good put to that, Sonia. So, I mean, I go through a lot of diversity training in regards to the military and things of that nature. My question to the group as a large, do you have any resources that we can look at as far as diversity training, where we can go and look up different types of training?
I think Kane and Miss Phillips were researching.
I had looked up I think you looked up somebody too, right? I looked up the University of Dayton and I gave all that material. The young lady was very nice and I kind of told her what we would like to have. And she does a program, it's free. I mean, if you'd like to make a donation, that is fine. But it's run through the University of Dayton and I gave all of that material to President.
Mr. Major?
Yeah, Mr. Major. That was months ago. I gave him all that material with her name and phone number. I probably still have some of those papers. I can check and see. But she does a whole program. I don't know.
I got an idea. What if we take her diversity training first and go through her diversity training before we I'm trying to think of how to say
It's almost like you would be vetting the diversity training to make sure it fits our demographic. It's kind
correct.
of like practicing what we preach. I mean, in all fairness, we need a level of training as well. We can't insinuate because we might be minorities or of color that we are fluent in diversity.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, maybe we should take the training first.
I mean,
I'd
I'm
be good with that.
open to that.
Well, I can
Okay.
see if I can get hold of her. Maybe I'll get hold of Mr. Major first and see if he still has the materials. I'll have to check through mine and see if I even kept it, because I think I sent most of it to him. So I'll check and see and get back. Okay?
All right. So the recommendation here would be for the HRC commission as a whole to go through the
Yeah,
diversity training.
right.
I'd be
Okay.
good with that.
All right. Thank you. I like that. It's always good to have those types of conversations. I'm totally digressing here because, in the military, we kind of, I'm getting on my soapbox, whatever, but we interact with individuals from all diverse ethnicities. And I just love it because I get the opportunity to learn about people from all across, from all spectrums of ethnicity, whether I have someone who is Chinese, Filipino, Korean, obviously white and black, but Taiwanese, all of those and then actually learn about their cultures. I just love it because people are so beautiful, and to learn what kind of is at their heart. If we actually sit back and take a minute to learn the person internally, then we can kind of wipe out all of our biases and stuff like that. I'm getting off my soapbox, but that's just me.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
The woman I spoke to at Ohio University, she does sessions. I don't know necessarily it would be considered training of sort, but she specializes in specifically microaggressions. I know she said she would love to talk to the group, whether that be Zoom or in person. So that could also be
Another one. Mhm.
I think that's a good put. Microaggression. Would we want her to speak to us here in this committee first,
Sure.
or as a whole?
I would do the whole. Don't you think?
I would do the whole, considering the size of our HRC, and we're pretty much split on all the teams anyway, so it makes sense to do the whole.
That's true.
Yes, you have 7 members on this committee and you have 8 members.
Oh,
on
so it's only one
Yeah.
person difference. Okay.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. All right. So Kane,
Should I send the contact information to you or to Marvin?
Send it to her.
both. You can,
Both?
yes,
Okay, I'll send it to both.
thank you.
and CC me.
Okay, I will CC you.
Thank you.
I don't remember.
So hiring of minorities in the workplace. one of the I think we were going for a diversity goal. Is there any additional information that you kind of want to talk to about that today, or are we good on this?
We were talking about, we would like to be represented somebody represented in all areas of the city of Troy.
Mhm.
Again, the books come out and there are no minority people on them again. I don't know.
What books?
There are books that come out every, what is it? Like twice a year they come out. And they have the different areas and what's going on and what they're doing. And I can't even remember.
Is that Miami counties?
Yeah, Miami County. And then there's another one.
Chamber
comes out
usually also.
that's just Troy.
Chamber has.
Chamber
the-
of Commerce,
yes.
is that who does that?
I don't know if they did one last year, but usually Chamber has one in Miami County.
But there are never any people of color anywhere in the book. They're, 32 pages and nowhere to be seen.
I know speaking to, I spoke to Stephanie about that. We had lunch over the summer about that. She said that's something that they're working towards and changing.
Hasn't changed yet.
I mean, if it was
Yeah.
up to her, it would have been changed
Right,
yesterday.
right. Yeah, that's one of the things I would like to see. And we're talking about getting people to want to come here and live. And like we said, if you don't see people that look like you, I've had people that say to me, I didn't know you guys even had that many Black people in Troy. Have you ever heard that?
I mean, yeah, I've heard people say that.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Or
we're
even
not,
the Hispanic community.
except for the sports teams.
Right.
They say it with the football and the basketball and all the teams, but other than people here that actually live here. So I would just like-
So what book are we speaking of? Is it because maybe the book was, I'm sorry?
No, it just came out. It came out. I
So
think,
maybe this book was in publication or in the process of being published at the time, and there was no time to call it back, you think?
I'll have to look at the date on it, look at the dates, but it came in December and it was for 21. So it might be, you might be right about that.
Mhm. I know I was watching, I seen some things on Facebook about like, because MLK is Monday, and
Right.
there's this all about books, I think it is.
Yeah.
Roundabout books.
Say it again?
Roundabout books.
Roundabout.
It's the
Roundabout books, right. And so their window has a lot of, if we go downtown, I think it's next to Winans.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
books too. He has a lot of cultural Black history books and Hispanic, and he does very well with that.
Mhm.
You know,
They
having
did that partly too. We won't have a march this year due to COVID, to wanting to be safe. So that was sponsored by the MLK team. And so there's a virtual on service that will be live streamed. And that should be, I sent that over, and I think Salome should already had it. And I believe that is on the website. And I asked her
Yes.
if she could
We
somehow.
shared their post with the picture. So it was shared, as I explained before, and Lauren explained to you, from the third parties, we share their post. That's how it is from different other organizations. So
Yeah.
we did the same thing with that bookstore. We shared their post, so it is on our Facebook page. And Sonia also sent us press release for MLK.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's on our website too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know that the artwork in the window at the bookstore was done by students throughout Troy as well.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why I was bringing it up. I'm like, the students did that, so.
Yeah.
we wanna
Yeah,
make
and the
sure.
students were
That's
nothing
awesome.
short of amazing. It's beautiful. And the student government, I think, is ready to, pitch in a little more and get kind of involved in some activities as well. So yeah, that's a really good thing. And those kids did a really good job with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Before we move on, talking about recommendations for the Troy City schools, or necessarily we can broaden it to any schools within Troy, giving them recommendations of, we can say hiring, or, you know, have them say working for goals of matching the diversity of Troy. And then I also think outside of hiring, we should give recommendations on books on Black history, books on like white fragility or conversation with a Black man. There's tons of books out there that kind of touch on those subjects that we could recommend to them as well. If we could gather a list. It doesn't necessarily just have to be hiring, but you know, broadening the views of the students so that they kind of get that cultural flavor that everyone needs to have a well-rounded education to succeed.
I like that idea. So I said recommending to incorporate more ethnic books into the curriculum, or availability within.
Availability, I would say availability. Yeah.
And then also putting them on when you do, sometimes the kids have to do reports and stuff. At least, usually they get a list of people that they can do their reports on. I know at Troy Christian, where my grandkids went, they did, and there was hardly any, matter of fact, I don't think there were any Black people on those lists or Hispanic. So I gave her a list of books that would be nice for all ages, from kindergarten through, I think I did 6th grade. And they did incorporate that in their program to get those books, at least list them on there so the kids would have a choice.
Now, would these books, would they be for reports or just reading? Ooh, probably just like, yes, I was gonna say, usually you have like a list of books that you have to read at certain levels, right?
Recommended reading. Sometimes they have certain times that reading about certain particular things, and they should be for both. A report, if they do reports, give them the options of, if they want to do that, at least have it available for them. And then they can make the choice. And then if it's one that they have to read or should read, then definitely at least once a year, maybe have one for multicultural. So.
I like that idea.
Didn't we talk about previously to build the relationship to be able to recommend to the city and or eventually the school, HBU, colleges and other sources of diversity so they could have a pool to hire from? I'm pretty sure we had that conversation.
Yeah, we did. Also, they need to have them in the high school. If you have one Black student, then you need to have information about Black colleges there. My daughter went to a Black college, and there was no information in Troy.
So that is initiative or recommendation number 9. If you look at the annual report,
Thank you.
Go to page 8, and it's on number 9.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Number 9. Okay, perfect.
But Kane, thank you for that, bringing that up. That is a good topic of conversation of books. So then my question would be, where are we going to draw this list from?
There's all kind. You can get on the internet and get all kinds of books.
Yeah,
I have a list of some for elementary. Believe it or not, Dolly Parton. Have you ever seen any of her books? Have you ever seen them? She has a wonderful multicultural stories. They're amazing. They're wonderful.
Matter of fact, I have my granddaughter signed up for that.
They're excellent. They are excellent. They cover everything. Handicapped children, special needs children. Yeah, got that one. Yeah, Lola. Yeah, my granddaughters love that too. But I can get you a list for from preschool up to 6th grade. I have a lot. And then I have a lot too for 7th, 8th too, so.
Yeah, I really like that. Yes, Dolly Parton's books are
Are
really
excellent.
good. Yeah.
They're excellent. And you know what? She does a program where we could probably get some free.
Mm.
I mean, she has a program.
Well, I don't know. I know that each parent could probably sign their kid up. Well, not probably. Each parent can sign their child up to a certain age
Mhm.
to where they can receive one book a month free.
Mhm.
And that's like
Troy Library carries a lot of her books.
uh,
As a matter of fact, during the summer when they had the reading program, they were giving them out free,
mhm.
you know, to sign up for the reading program, and then you could go and select a book, and there were a lot of her books there. So I check with them and see what we can do with that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So can you take that on as you
Sure
can get
will.
us a recommended
Reading is
list?
very, very important, especially when they're smaller.
Yeah.
Getting them to like to read.
Most definitely. All right. I think that's the end of our initiative. Well, the last initiative is actually tabled for now because we have no sources available to us to be able to address that. And that is the Japanese school. That is a way long term goal, but maybe we can have that discussion. If we were to move or find a location for the school, where would it even go? I am not very familiar with Troy to even begin a recommendation besides buying some land and building it up.
Mm.
And I know that'll get passed. Obviously.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about getting the children from the dungeon.
Well, I mean, it's all, it's all there together, talking about diversity and inclusion. If we have our Japanese, we have our Japanese friends coming in, right? Potentially staying here locally once they finish their schooling. And it's a part of drawing them into our community. So, I mean, we're going to have to address it one day or another. Where to find a building that will sit 150 to 200 individuals. That's a challenge. But I don't want us to say, okay, it's tabled, and then we don't talk about it at all. Or even come up with an idea of maybe they can, being that it's Saturday,
Right.
would it be an opportunity to have a discussion with the Troy City Schools? I don't think that's possible, but to say, hey, can they rent that space on that day?
Mhm.
If it even would get past the Troy City School Board to offer up that space for them.
Since it is a Saturday school, Saturday.
I wonder, I mean, I think it would probably be more feasible to approach Troy City Schools in the cell of, assuming the levy will pass, hopefully soon, that maybe they would sell one of their buildings to the Japanese or gift it for a tax deduction, you know what I mean? Something to that effect. I mean, Troy City Schools have outgrown their buildings, and so their end goal is to create new buildings. And so they are trying to be very, I think, intentional on how to use the spaces that they have now to better the community instead of leaving, you know what I mean, condemned old schools around. So maybe that would be a more feasible conversation to have, but that would definitely be a future conversation. David, am I right in saying?
That would be well into the future. I mean,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
if a levy were to pass, it would be probably at least 2 years before we'd be ready. Just going through the entire design and construction process, it would be a fair amount of time before, at least 18 months to 2 years, I believe. I'm not certain, but I believe before any schools would be ready. And that's after the Troy City Schools were to pass a levy. which right now is it's not going to be on the May ballot. I don't know if it's going to be on November or not. That's not my decision, obviously. But so, I mean, we could talk about it now, but if that's the way we're going, we're looking at every bit of 2+ years down the road.
Mhm.
Right. So maybe it's finding a temporary space for them, meaning 2 years temporary plus. Who knows?
Right. Is there a school that is currently vacant?
No.
No.
Nope.
Yeah. And David, you said 2 years. No, I'm thinking 5.
You got some downtown buildings that need refurbished. You know, there are buildings around, but I think it's a matter of having the money to maintain them or get them to a certain level. I think the only, well, yeah, I don't think there's a church necessarily big enough or constructed in a way that would be feasible either.
Mm.
So, not sure. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
Okay.
Maybe before moving forward with this, it will be beneficial for you to talk to Japanese school
Yep.
and find out where they are at and what their
Can you
plans are.
send me their contact information? Who would be my point of contact, like their administrator?
I can find that out for you tomorrow.
Okay,
And I'll
thank you,
let you know.
Salome.
Hopefully I won't forget.
You won't. You're good.
Might just email her.
Thank you. I don't want to forget.
I think that is a good idea to start with them because we need to know what their wants and desires are. And then also to find out what, my husband likes to say this, how much skin in the game do they have?
Good.
Need some skin in the
So
game.
true.
How much? So would you say,
Yeah.
Sonia?
No, it's so true because, you know, I mean, they may or may not want to have a school here in Troy. I mean, you know, they might have some potential other places or something might make more sense or, so yeah, I think Salome, thank you for, that's kind of foundational that we talk to, you know, the group before we kind of assume their needs. So thank you for that.
Yeah, awesome. I do not have any additional comments, questions. Does anyone else?
I do. I don't know. I know he's so modest that he would not tell anybody, but we do have a college graduate in the house. I'm not mentioning any names, Kane. Okay, so I think as a group, we should all congratulate him.
Congratulations,
Give him
Kevin.
a hand.
Congratulations.
Look at him.
Congratulations, Kane. I expect to see you running in the future since you're done with school.
Yeah, I run every day.
Oh no, I want to see you on that ballot, young man.
I do too.
Hopefully, I was going to ask about what graduate program he's joining.
What graduate program?
Yeah.
No, really?
No, I don't plan to do any graduate school yet.
Why?
Okay. Don't let it wait.
That
I
is
won't.
true.
Oh no, I definitely won't. Get a pay
Okay.
raise if I graduate.
Don't forget that the 18th at 10 a.m. will be live streamed from First Presbyterian Church. I believe there's a YouTube link on their website. Please join us for our MLK celebration.
10 a.m.?
10 a.m.
Okay.
And if anyone ever wants to join the MLK team, I will connect you. It's Pastor Kimma Cunningham out of Richards Chapel. But the more the merrier as far as we're concerned.
Well, you got 2 of them right there. They are intimately familiar with Pastor Kimma.
Yeah. We'll go to church.
Kane will be playing saxophone, right, Kane?
I will.
Are you?
That's right.
Cool.
That's right.
Oh, Mr. Major is joining us. We'll give him 5 minutes and then we'll end the meeting. Hey, Marvin, you're still
Hey.
muted.
Hey, Sherry. Hi. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Happy New Year.
Hey,
Happy New Year to you all.
So we assigned you all tasks. So
right?
Uh-oh.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, God.
And we created 10 more initiatives for you to hone down for us. Haha.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you very much.
however, I will follow up with you after this meeting. I'll call you. So I'll let you know, bring you up to speed. I won't have everyone to go through the whole meeting. But do you have anything that you would like to bring up to the committee?
No, I do not.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we just made an announcement for Monday, the MLK live stream. So make
Yes,
sure you tune
10
in.
a.m. First Presbyterian Church. There's a YouTube link.
Oh, it is that time of the year.
I'll share it on
It
Facebook.
is.
Okay.
It's on the city's website too, the
It's on-
information,
yeah,
press release.
Yep.
If you click on the calendar 18th, on the 18th, January 18th on the calendar, you'll get the information.
The last thing that I want to talk about before we actually adjourn is our next meeting. We're going to stay on a monthly rotation. So the next meeting could be potentially the second Wednesday of the month would be the 10th of February.
The 10th of February.
That is
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Fine for me.
Good for
I
me
am
too.
tentative for that date.
Say it again.
I will be tentative for that date. I think I have a meeting that night and I don't have an update yet. I'm actually supposed to be out of town on the 10th, but let's go ahead and set it for that day. And then if something changes, then I'll just let everyone know I can.
So Ms. Phillips and Kane, I didn't hear your concurrence.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. Works for me.
I will make suggestion. So on 11th, you'll have a meeting with schools,
Oh, that's
Mr.
nice.
Piper, and so
Oh, yeah, we should do it after that one. How
do you
about,
think it's
thank
better-
you.
better if you
The 20th?
do it on Monday or on 15th or 17th.
Ooh, let's not have it on the.
Can we do the 17th? I
That
don't
works
What
work
day is
Monday.
that?
It's a
What day is
Wednesday.
that? Yeah, I can stick to
17th.
Wednesday.
That's Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, can we stick to a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Can we do the 24th? That'll give us time to digest the meeting.
Fine for me.
And I will not, just a heads up, I will not be at HRC tomorrow. I started my getting head classes and they are Thursday night. And so I will not be there.
How
So
long
I
are you gonna?
will, well, they run 10 weeks.
Okay.
Is it every
So-
Thursday?
It's every Thursday night for 10 weeks.
That's
And
okay.
I have
We will
3 of
adjust
those
for you.
classes a year. Yeah, and I mean, I can do via Zoom and kind of listen. I just won't be able to, and I'm sure no one's gonna cry if they don't hear my voice and see my baby face. But
What?
you know what I mean? I'll
can't see
try
your
my
face.
best to just follow up. No, I mean my grandbaby's face.
Oh,
That was the joke. Yeah. But it's okay to keep that meeting, and we'll work it out. No worries.
Okay.
okay. Kane, I understand that you want to push it to the 24th, but I don't know if we want to go that far out from when we actually hear the information.
What about 16th, it's Tuesday, or 18th on Thursday?
I do all classes Tuesday and
Oh,
Thursday
Thursday.
night. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
I will indefinitely start to be busy. I do 3 to 4 classes a year. So that's about 40 weeks. out of 52.
So the 17th.
If not, I'm okay with the 5th on that Monday. That's President's Day. I don't care. I'm off on that day. What about the other committee? What day do they typically meet?
Oh, Miss Phillips cannot attend meeting
I
on
can't go
Monday.
Monday, but that's okay.
Okay,
Doesn't stop me.
so then I think we should stick with our Wednesday, the 17th.
On,
Ish. So
on
they,
Ash Wednesday.
Oh, that's,
Well, what time do services start on Ash Wednesday? Probably 6:30. Oh, yeah, that's true.
y'all pray for us, sister, while y'all go to Ash Wednesday.
Oh, shameful.
Could we move it up to 5?
Yes, I'm good for 5
Yeah.
o'clock.
At what time?
On
5.
Ash Wednesday at 5? The 17th at 5?
As long as we are out within the hour so you can be able to attend your service.
Yes. I'm
Oh,
okay.
yeah, we'll do that. Yeah,
What time does your service start?
between 6:30 and 7. I don't know. They haven't let us know yet.
Okay,
Okay.
so 17 Feb at 5 p.m.
Yeah, so they give us a max hour and a half.
Yeah,
But we probably wouldn't use
we'll
that
be
much.
good.
Will that work for you, David?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay, so next meeting, 17 Feb, 5 p.m.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you all. We appreciate your time.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye,
Have a good day.
I'll
guys.
call you Marvin. I'll call you.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.